Today we continue our series, A Whiteshields Guide to 9th Edition. Hello and welcome back. I'm Knight Commander Cabe and this is a tactical strategic focused channel aiming to increase your skill on the tabletop. Today, on our latest episode of A Whiteshields Guide to 9th, we're looking at target priority. Anyway, let's get to it. So you might be thinking, what's target priority? It mainly is a key for people who are running a shooting army, but that doesn't mean combat armies don't actually benefit from doing a bit of target priority. So the aim is to take your opponent's list and categorise it into things what you think are dangerous or what you think are more valuable to their side as an opposing faction to you. Normally, I personally start by assessing this in the deployment phase as they're deploying each of the units, where they're deploying them on the battlefield, and it gives me a gauge of what I think they're going to do. Obviously, I don't know exactly what they're going to do because I'm not a psychic and I don't know what my opponent's going to do, but I'm giving myself a good insight what they're going to do, what I think they're going to do anyway. So there's two types of target priorities I normally thinking for: damage dealing units and supporting buffing units for them. Obviously the buffing units are going to take a slight less priority, especially on my first turn compared to my second turn, but it all depends on the situation. Like for my terms of support or buffing characters, I'm talking more like Primaris Lieutenants, Primaris Captains and Chapter Masters, who are giving the units +1 to hit, rerolls, different abilities per se, things like that, what are going to buff units around them, what's going to make them stronger. So in a way, if there's a lot of units piled into a certain area of the board, it might be more precedented to take out that supporting character than all of the units around it. But then again, it's all going to determine on how they deploy. I tend to rank them like in a 1 to 5 scale. Obviously 1 being most priority, I'm going to need to kill, because if I don't deal with that said unit, they're going to cause some serious damage to my units in their turn, which obviously nobody wants to see the models dying on the battlefield. And obviously as I get further down, like things like obviously at the bottom, like things like on the first turn, like units on objectives, I'm not really going to be bothered too much about them. And other things that are on the battlefield, what's not really going to irritate me too much. If I run out of things to shoot, obviously I will shoot that unit, but obviously it's not going to matter too much if I do or do not kill them on the first turn or even the second turn. So some basic rules what I tend to follow is mentally work out which units or characters, because 9 times out of 10 they're normally a badass character. As you can see from the photos to the side, you've got lots of Magnus and Gilliman, both very scary units in their own right, and basically they'll be in a certain ranking order what I determine what they have on the battlefield. On the next slide I've got a few examples, so just bear with me for a second. Obviously another one is always use the shortest range to that target first, because obviously if you kill him with a long range unit, that short range unit now has nothing to fire against. It's all trying to maximise the amount of what your models can do. You don't want 20% or 30% of your army what have short range weapons not being able to do anything for a turn. It's just not efficient. And obviously leaving your longer range weapons and ones what ignore line of sight till the end, because they've got a lot more tactical variety in different ways and different things they can even hit, especially with line of sight ignoring weapons, especially coming through into 9th where quite a lot of terrain is going to be line of sight blocking, which a lot of people are going to be trying now to hide things behind them. And also don't focus everything on one unit. It goes without saying, say if you've got, for example, 3 repulsor executioners, don't focus fire on one of them, just try to kill that one. It's more efficient to take off wounds off each one of them. So then at least, yeah, there's still going to be the whole firepower, but each one of them is going to be down on a bracket, which is going to make their shooting a lot harder through the whole game. And then on your next turn, you can always come back and then start taking and picking them off one by one if you want to. But it's always better, in my opinion, to take them down evenly and take them down to different brackets. Obviously, it's going to make their shooting a lot harder, and it's going to diminish all the stats on the unit profile anyway. So, alright, here's some examples. I can better explain it because I can show you what I'm talking about now. On the far left photo, obviously you can see I'm playing a game as Astra Militarum with an ally of Imperial Fist, and this game was against Necrons and Blood Ravens. This was quite a long time ago, probably about two years. So it's probably in the good first half of 8th now, and as you can see, we didn't get first turn. Obviously, the Necrons and the Blood Ravens have got first turn. So you can see from where they moved, there's a Doomscythe come right up on my lines on the right flank, and a Storm Raven come behind the lines on the left flank. Obviously, you can see these two units are massively high priority because they both have transport capabilities. So obviously they're both going to be dropping units right on our faces on their next turn, which is going to cause massive problems as we're both running gunline armies. So, for example, they'll both be right at the top of the priority to take out, and then as they drop the units, they'll also be priority. So on this one, I did fire quite a lot into both of these units, as well as my other priorities were, if you can see at the back, there's a Doomsday Ark and another one just to the right of it. They were also high up because they're both very big damage dealing things, which could take out both of our super heavies quite easily and all of our tanks. So then again, that was another one. Then it went slightly further down, like the Warriors and the Wraiths. They were getting close, but they weren't too worrying because they were quite still out of range. So I had another turn to deal with them. So obviously they were a bit further down the pecking order. And obviously the Catan there, I've just noticed that was another high priority. But as you can see as well, I've got quite a few units here what ignore line of sight. So obviously the Manticore behind the Bastion in the centre, and the Mortar Heavy Weapons team behind the other building in the centre. They obviously were one of the last things I shot, because obviously they've got quite big range, and they're just to pick off things I haven't quite killed, or just move on to another unit if they were killed. The picture in the centre is just another angle. As you can see the Warriors a bit more better, and other Necron units. The left flank wasn't too much of a problem in this game from what I remember, but then again, I wasn't reinforced by Imperial Fists, which are very capable of destroying all that side on their own. Obviously, I was just there for a little bit of support at the end of it. On the last photo, this was probably one of my first games of 8. Obviously, as you can see, most of my vehicles are unpainted in there, and my friend was using Predators and kill shot when that was a thing, before he delved quite deep into his Primera stuff. So obviously in that game, the 3 Predators which you can't see behind the building, obviously they was massively a problem because of the kill shot stratagem, which the Space Marines used a lot back then. So my aim was to kill definitely one of them, so they couldn't use that stratagem, and then hopefully bracket or destroy a second, which I think I managed to kill one, and I left the second one on a wound, which was quite annoying. I think I used quite a lot of rerolls just to try and kill it through different phases, but obviously it didn't happen in the end. Another problem was going to be the Storm Raven again at the back, because I knew it could jump down over my lines, and obviously it had a Dreadnought and an infantry, I think it was an infantry squad inside it, to come down. So that was another one I had to deal with. Pretty sharpish. I think I didn't kill him on this occasion, but it was one of those. But it's one of these things. What happens? You've got to just adapt and carry on, and that. But yeah. Obviously, there was things as well like shorter range. Like obviously my las guns in all of the photos. Some of them are in range. As you can see on the picture on the right, there's a Devastator squad in the building. Obviously, all my short range fire went into them because one, it was the only thing they could shoot at, and two, why shoot my bigger stuff? What could hit everything else at them and waste them shots? Whereas I could maybe get lucky. It might, yeah, it's probably not going to happen. 2-up saving cover, a last one's not really going to effectively take out that unit, but it was worth a shot. But what I'm trying to get at is try not to fire all your long range stuffs at short range when you have other units what could possibly take out that. But you probably will have to do it, but it's, you can take 1 or 2 wounds off. That 1 or 2 wounds might have been the 1 or 2 wounds you needed if you did it the other way around. So it's just something to keep into consideration when you're planning out all of your attacks and that. Anyway, I think that about covers it. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe, and please comment what I can improve on. Obviously I'm here to help you as much as you're here to watch me and that. So anyway, take it easy guys, and I'll see you all soon. Goodbye.